Why make the Joker out of paper? The film was amazing. I loved it. And the version this film brought is my favorite. From the suit, to the laugh, to the run, the face paint. Everything about this character has been striking in a way that it hasn't been before, and this film gave us the perfect Joker that I never knew I wanted. And I'm wanting to capture something of this film for my own, to represent something that I really like, and, you know, my own art style, the way that I do, which is making toys out of paper, of course. So I will do just that. Oh, and there will be complete spoilers for the whole film ahead. You've been warned. And here we go. Tragedy v comedy. You can look at this film multiple ways, through multiple lenses. There's so many different takes you could have. But the thing that stood out to me was this line between tragedy and comedy being blurred. And slowly but surely they become one and the same. The film starts off with the two separated. We have Arthur and the clown. Half his life is this beat down man, but for the other half, his job, he's a clown spreading joy and laughter to the world. His life is a tragedy, but his job brings comedy. Like when he's beaten up for no apparent reason, as director Todd Phillips points out, he initially reaches for the sign, but then he reaches into his jacket to press a button to have water pouring out of the flower on his costume, as if to find comedy in his tragedy. Later, we see he writes with his right hand normally, but then he swaps to his left hand when writing negative thoughts, which is also the same hand he holds the gun with. Even his clown mask is only half a clown mask. Like he's only half a clown. There's a visual split between the clown and the man. Then there's the jokes. Earlier in the film, when Randall makes fun of the little guy with the mini golf joke, Arthur laughs, and his laughing is in sync with everybody else's. But later in the film, at the comedy club, his laugh is off cue with everybody else's. He seems to be laughing in the setup of the joke rather than the punchline. Almost like he can't tell the difference. Also, there's his laughing condition, of course. Something that is a common expression of joy for most people is one of pain for Arthur. And that's a really cool idea, to give some depth to Arthur's laugh like this. I really like that hilarious moment in the film where he walks into the screen door. It's funny because I didn't expect it given the tone of the scene, but I think there's something more here. It's a cool small example of Arthur's disconnect from society. Where others exit, he enters. When others laugh, he's quiet. When other people are angry, he's laughing. Another compelling part of the film is that Arthur's circumstances are horribly unfair. You can sympathize with his pain. He has many very real glimpses of humanity that you can understand, identify with even. You really do feel for the guy at a lot of points, but he's still Joker, so there's plenty of other scenes that are just you can't connect with, that are just strange and outright weird. Like him dancing with the gun and role-playing with himself, putting the face paint on his tongue, and deciding to hop into a damn fridge. Like, what? Why? When? When did he get out? Did that even happen? It just cuts to the next scene like it didn't happen. I'm so confused. And I love that. It's perfect for the origin story of Joker. However, I think the most telling thing of who he is and who he becomes is that scene where he has his first kill, the triple murder on the subway. For a while, you feel like you might be able to understand Arthur. He seems like a real person with a real struggle. It's valid, and we're sympathetic towards him. Until we're not. Then he does something extreme, something disgusting, or something just outright strange. So our understanding and sympathy for him are gone, taken abruptly from us like the lives of his victims. But not before he gives us a glimpse of hope. I'd say my sympathy for Arthur peaked and plummeted on the train. When he gets the attention of those three stooges who beat him up for laughing. For something that he can't control. And of course, take three insecure little boys in men's bodies and give them an easy target, and they'll try to prove their superiority like children in the playground. A simple laugh from a strange-looking person is all it takes to turn them into savages. And you see Arthur reach for his card that informs them of his medical condition to help them accept and understand him. But it's gone. And we remember that rude lady on the bus from the beginning that never gave it back to him. Probably because she didn't take his condition seriously, or she was just grumpy. Who knows? Life is just getting harder and harder and harder, and this sucks. Then, bang, bang, bang. In a flash, two men are dead, and Arthur's a killer. The situation derails, and he chases the third man down and shoots him dead in cold blood. Arthur's a murderer. And with the death of that last guy, my sympathy died too. There were 4 victims that day, and only 1 walked away. Then Arthur runs to the bathroom in shock for a moment, like a scared human being that can't comprehend what he just did. He feels a little human again, and my sympathy slowly returns. And the camera pans down his leg, where honestly I was expecting to see piss running down, like I thought he had wet himself in terror, but that's not it. He sweeps his foot calmly around and begins dancing, with a calm, controlled elegance we have not seen from Arthur. As if in killing those 3 men, Arthur stepped into his personal power. And that's very frightening and unnerving, and he was only ever a villain, in my eyes, from this point on. And the scene's just a little strange. It's so beautiful and graceful, that moment. It's like this real moment of peace in this chaos of a life that he's had so far. But given the context of what happened and who he's destined to become, or who we think he's going to become, it's so unnerving and it makes me so uncomfortable. But hey, what doesn't kill you just makes you stranger, I suppose. And later, in what I consider to be the most heartbreaking scene of the film, Arthur finds out the truth about his mother and about himself. Upon realizing that he was beaten and neglected as a child while his lone guardian, the person who's supposed to look out for him and protect him at all costs, abandons him, she just sits idly by and lets it happen. Because she didn't hear any screams, she said. He was always such a happy boy, she said. She doesn't notice Arthur's difficulties, his struggles. His very life is in danger because she's deluding herself into thinking that he's just this happy little boy. As if she's laughing off his problems, telling him to cover it up with a smile and pretend like things are okay when they clearly aren't. And it is in this realization that Arthur breaks, laughing hysterically and uncontrollably, as the line between tragedy and comedy breaks too. Pain and laughter now are one and the same. Comedy and tragedy are one and the same. It's all one big joke now. He even says, all this time I thought my life was a tragedy, but now I realize it's a comedy. As he kills his mother, which is kind of like representing that the thing that was forcing him to smile and not acknowledge his struggle and his problems is now gone. He's not tied down to that anymore. There's no difference between the two for him anymore. His mother taught him to always cover up his problems by putting on a happy face, pretending it's all okay. Society doesn't take him seriously, his mother didn't take him seriously, even his laughing condition is a joke. So now, it's all a joke to Arthur too. He doesn't believe in anything anymore. And one takeaway I have of this, if this film was to be saying anything, it's how Arthur was always told to smile and put on a happy face. To be happy and pretend things are okay, pretending like his problems aren't real, not taking them seriously. The very first scene has him forcing a smile, which brings a tear. His own mother even calls him happy, for God's sake, not Arthur. Happy, like she's forcing him into this identity that is not his. Did you guys catch that? This seems to be the big factor into why the line between tragedy and comedy was broken. His own issues were a joke to other people. And if his pain is a joke, then theirs must be as well. So he started treating their suffering as a joke too, as if to say, who's the Joker now? And then he hopped into a fridge. Love that scene. I never really gave much thought or significance to Joker's name and laugh before, but his laugh being a result of his childhood trauma, his tragedy, and actually causing him pain, it's uncontrollable and it's perfect because it's symbolic of this line between between comedy and tragedy being blurred, like I've said 14 times already throughout this video. And him being Joker because it's all a joke. Pain, suffering, actual jokes, everything is a joke. He doesn't take anything seriously. He doesn't believe in anything. And his laugh and name having that meaning, I think it's genius. I think it's great. And this film made that very clear to me. That's why that end line carries so much weight for me. There is no punchline. The clown mask is off now because he threw it in the bin. There's just so much to this film and there's so much to this version of the character, and I love it and he looks the best, and this is why I'm making Joker out of paper. Thank you for watching. I appreciate your time and attention as always, and you'll see me next time. Do